evening to you traders, hope you're well. Let's have a recap of what we've looked at the past few videos and see what's going on. So the Dow is just melting up as we expected. However, we haven't had a buying signal yet. We're waiting for one close under that 5-period moving average to buy, and then looking to sell on the subsequent close above the 5-period moving average. That hasn't happened yet. We dipped and we just tagged it. We just gave it a little kiss on intraday. But that wasn't technically a close, so there's no trade from that. So I'm going to keep my eye out on that. I might be a bit cautious if it happens tomorrow over the weekend, holding over the weekend. But if it happens mid next week, then we could be game on there. Let's have a look at Netflix, which we were trading. Yesterday. Or we're looking for a trade yesterday, should I say, in yesterday's video. So we talked about how we were sitting in this range, this sort of 86 to 84, 490 range. Buy on a break above the range with a stop below. That didn't quite set up at the close yesterday, which is kind of good because you don't really want the overnight risk if you don't have to have it. But this morning, we opened up, came down, tagged that to the almost to the tick if you're watching it. If not, you had your order in place there. Excuse me, you were fired off straight away pretty much, and now we're long and we're looking for a push up towards the 90 levels. A $2 profit in that straight away. Where it goes from here, who knows. I'm going to pull the stop up to that on a little bit tighter. In fact, let's put a VWAP on there and see where we are relative to the volume weighted average price. We're still nice above it. One tag of the VWAP wouldn't be too much damage. If we started going too far below it, then I'm going to look to take some profits on that. Otherwise, I'm going to look to hold this and see if we can get a couple of day run out of it. So that nice little trade set up there, not much risk relative to what we've got out of it. But let's have a look at what I think is nicely setting up today. Let's go back to a daily chart of cable pound US dollar. Okay, so we all know this the whole backstory with pound US dollar. Well, specifically the pound happened to be looking against the dollar here, but specifically the pound rolled over on Brexit. We really, we've tried to push up, but we're not doing that well, to be fair. However, one thing I want to point out, and actually was brought to my attention by another trader. Thank you very much. We have tagged the. You know what? I need to change this to a 20 period. Now, as I said before, we sometimes use moving averages to guide us, and often when you get a drive lower like this, a good surprise drive, then you come back up and you often tag that 20 period moving average before you roll over again. Now we had that, and ultimately we have made a double top there. Fine, people have made some good money from that. But what is interesting to me now, and this is actually a trade setup that you can extrapolate, or I like to extrapolate across all markets. Now, if we look at the news we had today on the pound, let's put it on a 15-minute chart. The pound's looking reasonably weak after yesterday's action. It's pushing lower. All of a sudden, boom, we get some spike to the upside of the 9:30 news, which basically was the unemployment rate had fallen to something like 4.9%. And this was for the period of March to May, so the pre-Brexit period. Everyone was a little bit concerned. It doesn't cover right up to Brexit, of course. June, we had the Brexit late June. The Brexit vote late June, and now obviously the subsequent fallout from that. So we've still got that data to come, but generally traders perceive that as bullish, and that's why we saw the pound spike up from there, from 1.308 up to 1.318. A good spike on the pound, and it's holding those gains. Now, where's the trade in this? I'm interested in taking a short below that 1.308 level. Why? Because ultimately, if you think about the reason behind that trade, the reason behind the whole price move is that people are bullish on the UK economy. Everything's looking great. Unemployment's down. It should be positive for cable. However, if we go below that level with that good news in inverted commas suddenly known, then that tells me that bears are fully in control. Okay, so if we now drift below that level, it may never happen. We had a similar situation with the yen and we never got it. That's fine, we don't take the trade. If it does dip below that level, I'm looking for a short entry, and I'll probably end up putting my stop above there, or I may tighten up somewhere, find a little bit of a tighter place to put it, and then look for a subsequent move back to the 1.3. So that's potentially setting up. If it doesn't set up, fine, plenty of other stuff out there. That's what I am looking at. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Have a good evening.